This is Focus with Paul W. Smith on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Welcome in. We get right to the main story that broke out while we were on the air yesterday doing our broadcast from the Detroit Economic Club, which means we had very little ability to get coverage, Wi-Fi and telephone and everything else. And yet the team responded beautifully, did not give out any erroneous information, and we were getting lots of it. And I just wanted to point that out right from the beginning, how great the team was in getting the information to you after that incredible attack on Temple, Israel. The other incredible part of the story is the way everything worked the way it was supposed to work. Local, county, state, federal, all without hesitation, working together, showing up in numbers none of us who've covered news for 60 years have ever seen in our lives. And God bless the private security. And it's unfortunate that temples have to have their own private security, but God bless the private security, which took this guy out immediately. The guy who led the charge with local, county, state, and federal authorities is our friend, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. I doubt you've had any sleep because I've seen you everywhere, all over the national news and our local news, but God bless you for coming on to join us this afternoon, Mike.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I had a couple hours, but I don't bounce back like I did when I was in college.
None of us do. But what an incredible situation that I'm sorry to say has been rehearsed and practiced for. But the good news is that once it really happened in real life, everything to me looked like it came off brilliantly.
Yeah, no, you're right. Unfortunately, we've been training and thinking about this for a long time. 2006, I had all the chiefs from Oakland County come together after I saw what happened in Mumbai, where there were multiple teams attacking multiple targets. And I said, what if that happens here? We can't wait for it. We've got to think about it, plan, train. All of my partners, the local chiefs, we're hand in glove. We're not like, what you see on TV where everybody's, in sitcoms or whatever, where everybody doesn't like each other. We like each other and we work well together. We've been training together ever since, going back, almost 20 years. And as a result, we've been sadly ready for things like this, and we've done it. This is our fifth major event that we've responded to in the last 5 years. So it's kind of shocking, but the preparation matters. You can't make a plan at the door. The time to make a plan and train and prepare is before anything happens. And then when it happens, it's just go. And that's what happened. And it's not just police, as you mentioned, the private security. The head of security there is a good friend of mine, former police officer who retired. A number of the security people, former police that we know and are friends with, they've all been trained on the same platform. And we had been communicating. That's another part. You don't start talking when something happens. You have those relationships long before. And in this situation, I had been communicating. We always communicate, but in the 2 weeks prior to this, I've been texting a number of them a lot, sharing information and intel that I was getting from the national level and international level. And I had actually texted the head of security at Temple, Israel 2 days before it happened. Wow. So everybody was already queued up and talking and ready, hoping and praying it never happens. For us, that's not a strategy, though. Preparation is, and I think preparation showed yesterday.
Incredibly so, with all 140 children at risk, staff, congregants, everybody safe after the suspect rammed that truck into the synagogue and opened fire. I was at first surprised, and I still don't know the total story. You might offer it, how the truck could get through those doors with, I'm assuming there were blocks set up to prevent that. Did he just go over them, or what happened?
Well, there were actual ballards on the sidewalk in front of the doors, but they didn't run the duration of the facility. So he drove up the curb and over the curb and got onto the sidewalk behind the ballards.
Ah,
Uh,
I see. All right. That wasn't explained, and I wondered about that. Was that security officer that was hurt the one that's been your friend for a long time?
Yes, yeah,
And
he's still
is he
in the
doing
hospital.
okay?
He's pretty banged up. Got pretty impacted by the car when it breached the building, but he should be fine. We still got, I think, 6 officers in the hospital. We sent a total at this point 50 law enforcement because that car had an ignition source. That's under investigation of what the compounds were and how it was ignited, but it suffice to say, completely charred and burned out a good chunk of that building in that area. Very, very thick, toxic smoke.
And we
And
didn't
yet
hear at the
everybody,
time about the smoke inhalation that was sending all of those first responders to the hospital.
yeah, no, it sent a lot because, obviously you can't breathe in that stuff, but they had a mission. Their mission was make sure the threat is ended. There's not more than one suspect and make sure all the innocents got out. So everybody kept flooding into the building, irrespective of that smoke.
Everybody's got a thought or an opinion. Some people are suggesting that this guy did this because he lost family in Lebanon because of an Israeli strike. If he wanted to be upset with someone, he should have attacked Hezbollah because it's Hezbollah that caused Lebanon to be attacked, be that as it may. Do you think anyone else in Dearborn Heights knew what this guy was planning? And do you think there's anyone else backing him up? Or is this a lone wolf?
Well, that's going to be part of the ongoing investigation. There's nothing at this point to suggest anyone else had involvement or knowledge of it prior to it going operational, but that's going to be obviously part of the ongoing investigation.
What else might you offer, Sheriff Mike Bouchard, with your experience nationwide? You're called upon to help at times like this. Here we did it right in our own backyard and did it brilliantly. Again, the local, the county, the state, the federal, and starting with the private security. I'm hoping that it was the private security that did kill this guy. He didn't kill himself, right?
That is still unknown at this point. He's deceased in the truck. The cause and manner still has to be determined because he was heavily burnt, obviously. So that will be a determination by the medical examiner.
Did one of the stories said he stepped out of the truck with a rifle? I never thought he got out of the truck alive.
He was still in the vehicle.
Right. So I don't know what. It's astonishing.
He did, in fact, have a rifle, but he didn't get out.
Yeah, but yet somebody reported it in one of the news sources that he got out with the rifle, and that's when they took him out. All of these stories. I am so proud of our team yesterday in the height of all of this, and we were in touch with you right from the beginning, but we wouldn't go on the air with the things we were being fed because we couldn't make sure they were correct. And the last thing we wanted to do in a circumstance and situation like that is to broadcast incorrect information. So I'm thrilled with our team's ability to handle that.
No, I think you guys did the smart thing and the right thing.
Well, I appreciate that. Now what? What's next, Michael?
Well, we're encouraging people to be extra vigilant. If they see something, say something. Someone's more likely to hear or see something that's concerning or what we call leakage prior to someone being motivated to do something like this. Please share that. We'd rather check out 100 nothings and miss one real deal. That's the first thing. The second thing is we know on the heels of some evil person doing something, there's always copycats or swatting, those kinds of things that are going to happen. So we've got people that are deployed across the county at facilities and trying to make sure people feel safe and comfortable to go about, their worship and their day. But that's the most important thing. If you see or hear something you think is concerning, don't be hesitant at all to call us or your local police department if it's somebody else.
If you hear something.
The final thing I'll say is great partnership. Chief Young in West Bloomfield, his team did a great job. The security did a great job. All of the responding agencies, great job. our state and federal partners. We're all working this together. It's not like the TV, shows where somebody comes in and everybody hates each other. No, we're working hand in glove because that's what it takes to protect the community and solve crimes.
Well, I salute you for that. I see that. I understand it. I am so thrilled that you had practiced this and you were ready for this. I just hope you don't have to do it again. It's great to be ready, but it's tough when you have to jump into action. But when you jumped into action, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard and all the local authorities, county, state, federal, and starting with that private security, which is unbelievable, that's the biggest expense a temple has these days is their private security costs. This should not exist in this country of ours, and we've got to get to the bottom of this. We can't, there's a great column from Nolan Finley, front page of the Detroit News. Blame those who made anti-Semitism fashionable. I can't read the column on the air here, but you can go through it and see. The good news is none of the targets were hurt. The other good news is the private security guy who was hurt and in the hospital is going to be okay. And everybody worked together to make it safe. But again, you've said it, I'll say it again. If you see something, say something, do something. Those, 100%. Unfortunately, are the times we live in. And now more than ever, we're going to depend on each other to get the police involved earlier rather than after the fact. God bless you, Michael. Yep. Any last thoughts? Anything?
No, I agree with your thoughts about, what Nolan wrote. We are very strong on this topic. We have a large Jewish community. Our Jewish community is somebody that we love, respect, and we will protect. So if you come for them, you have to go through all of us collectively, and we'll come back at you.
My friend, my Lebanese cousin, I was so proud of you when you stood there and ended one of those press conferences with, if you come for our Jewish brothers and sisters, you will have to go through us to get to them, and we will be coming after you. God bless you, Michael.
100%. Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
We'll talk soon. I hope not about something like this again soon. Oakland County Sheriff Extraordinaire Michael Bouchard. We all lived through an incredible experience, but nothing like what the folks at Temple Israel have lived through. And they thank everybody. Their little thank you note wasn't little, but they were grateful to the teachers, and so am I, to the staff, and so am I, security, law enforcement, and even the Shenandoah Country Club that apparently welcomed all these people, fed them, and sheltered the staff, teachers, children, and parents. The best of people comes out after we've been struck by the worst of people. And unfortunately, there appear to be more of the bad people around us than ever. And we must stay strong and stand up to them and turn them away. We continue in focus with Paul W. Smith at WJR.
Did you know only 40% of people get to choose when they retire? To reduce fear and to understand if you have what you need to give you what you want in retirement, the charity has learned after teaching tens of thousands of families with assets between $1 to $20 million, you have to educate yourself and prepare now. Hi, I'm Kirk Cassidy, lead instructor for the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program, and the co-host of the Retirement Education Hour, heard here Saturdays 6 a.m. and 1 p.m. If you're retiring within 10 years or already retired, then join us for our retirement education courses held at major universities and colleges in your area. At this course, we'll teach you how and when to take income from which accounts at what age to minimize taxes and reduce the chances of outliving your money. Join us for our 8-hour, almost master's level retirement course to learn how to retire earlier, spend more, and reduce your anxiety. To find a course in your area, go to refedu.org. That's refedu.org. These courses are sponsored by the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at Clarkston Window and Door. This month, get 37% off installed replacement windows, plus 0% financing for 15 months. You heard that right, 37% off. 0% financing for 15 months. And Clarkston is even giving you free exterior color on top of all that. Call Clarkston Window and Door today or visit us online.
We sell, we install. That's right, we do it all. Clarkston Window and Door.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention. If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-245-7095 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-245-7095. That's 800-245-7095. Again, 800-245-7095.
5 seconds to Sharp, top of the key, lost the dribble. He's got to pick it up. It's scooped up by Condon. Condon secures it, and Florida found a way. From 12 down to the school's third national championship in men's basketball.
It was an epic come-from-behind win for the Florida Gators in last year's men's title game. Find out who will claim this year's titles with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's and women's tournaments right here.
Need parts fast? Need them now? O'Reilly is fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly Auto Parts stand apart. Right now at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts, you can get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 qualifying brake rotors. Ask the professional parts people about additional brake pad and rotor upgrade options available at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Raymer Floors 3-day sale Thursday and Saturday only. Save up to 40% on carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring is on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only. Raymer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at raymerfloors.com.
Hair volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or a delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green. Don't waste another weekend doing your lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up at TrueGreen.com. Then sit back and relax.
WJR Traffic and Weather First is sponsored by NECA, IBEW Local 58. Count on the Powering Michigan team of IBEW 58 skilled electricians and NECA signatory contractors for your next commercial, industrial, public, or residential construction project. The best electricians, the best electrical contractors, period. Learn more at poweringmichigansfuture.com. We've got a vehicle fire slowing you down on I-96 westbound east of Milford Road, another wreck on I-69 eastbound at M19, and steer clear of an accident on the Davison eastbound at the Lodge. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds today, a bit windy with a high of 48. Cloudy for tonight, a low of 27. Partly cloudy for Saturday with a high of 40. Overcast Sunday with a high of 62. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Monday morning on JR Morning, we'll give you all the news, traffic, and weather to get your week started off right. We'll also check in with MSU head basketball coach Tom Izzo after the Big Ten tournament, and Monday Munchies at 8:49. All right here on WJR, WJR.com, and the always free WJR app.
Certainly, we need to fund the Department of Homeland Security, and we need, in my view, to cut away all the conversation on ICE, which is its own conversation, from all the core missions of the Department of Homeland Security. But they're essential. They're on the job. They're working today.
What a hypocritical person. I used to really admire Alyssa Slotkin. I didn't always agree with her. We come from different approaches. But I admired her. Now I do not at all. The hypocrisy of Alyssa Slotkin, first of all, being a part of that video, which was obviously to get the president to react, and he took the bait, but the video putting soldiers in doubt of the orders they're getting, which was ridiculous. But this is a woman who can say this after back here in Michigan, we have the attack on Temple Israel. And yet, even after that, or in the vicinity of that, she voted no on funding DHS. They had a test vote, and she and all of her hypocritical Democrats voted no on funding DHS. So as you go to the airport today and you see those TSA workers, thank them profusely if they're there, because they aren't getting any paycheck today. Zero, none, zero. Imagine what that would be like for any of us to not get our paycheck and yet still show up for work. Elissa Slotkin, you've lost me. Your hypocrisy is so obvious, and you have fallen victim to Trump derangement syndrome. You go ahead and hate the president, but don't take your hate out on the American people who will now go through hell at the airport because of you and your fellow Democrats. I had to get that off my chest. Congressman Tom Barrett, Republican from the 7th District, when I saw her saying that, oh, yes, certainly the DOH should be funded, absolutely. And she just voted for them not to be.
Yeah. Well, Paul W., thank you for having me on, and I should just yield my time back to you to continue with what you're saying, because you're exactly right. The inconsistency and hypocrisy of saying that they want to fund these programs and then not funding them, you can't have it both ways. I tell people, we don't have a partial yes and partial no button on the votes that we take. We either vote yes or we vote no. Doesn't mean that every bill and every proposal is perfect, but it means that we have to do the adult thing in the room and make a decision, oftentimes difficult, to make the best choice and best decision for the people that elected us. And we cannot, in the threat environment that we're facing today, face an underfunded and an unpaid staff over at the Department of Homeland Security. And for the Democrats that are protesting this against their opposition to what ICE has been doing internally within the country, the ICE component of the budget is still fully funded. So even the people they are trying to target are not the ones that are actually being affected by this. It's the folks you pointed out, the hardworking people at the TSA, who already put up with a lot of public, frustration every single day, every single hour of their job. It's not a pleasant job to be involved in, but they show up and they do it every day. Now they're not getting paid. They just came out of the last shutdown where they got their back pay from that episode, and now they're right back to losing paychecks again. We have Coast Guard, men and women in the Coast Guard that are overseas supporting our military in this effort we have abroad right now that are under threat, that are not being paid today because of this. We got to stop it. We got to put the right thing forward. We got to pay these people, and we got to keep the portfolio of defense for our Homeland Security robust and fully funded, if nothing else, than to send a deterrent to any of these people that have these intentions in mind, like the attack we saw yesterday. Will know that we stand ready to defend the homeland and that we're not going to waver on that.
God bless you, Congressman Tom Barrett, for really just spelling it out and telling it like it is. This whole thing with the bipartisan condemnation and concern for the attack, but when it came to putting their money where their mouth is, they said no again yesterday to taking care of business and making sure these people are paid, DHS. And you're right about that. They're not hurting ICE. They claim all of this is because of ICE, but as you pointed out, ICE was in a different bill, completely funded for now. They're hurting the Coast Guard. They're hurting TSA, which then hurts anybody going to the airport today and for whatever period of time that these hypocrites with Trump derangement syndrome go after the president and you do whatever you have to do to make sure everybody knows you can't stand him. You've done that. But why take it out on the people you're supposed to be representing? That's what I don't understand. It just drives me crazy.
You're absolutely right. And we had a bipartisan compromise budget before us that was voted on and compromised by Republicans and Democrats for a full fiscal year budget for the Department of Homeland Security. And then at the very last minute, the Democrats in the Senate went back on their word and opposed this through the filibuster process. Not even a majority of the Senate, but a minority of the Senate opposing it and failing to allow it to even come up for a final vote through a procedural mechanism that they have to block that from happening. So it's the will of the Senate to fund this. but a minority of the Senate is blocking it from even coming up for a vote to just allow government to function in the way that we have to. I mean, we have to get past this idea of dysfunctional government where we can't even keep the lights on and pay the people that are doing the hard work for us every single day. Each and every one of those senators that showed up to vote no on this bill passed through a TSA screening station before they got on an airplane. They had security at the airport. They had Homeland Defense people watching and working every single day behind the scenes, often unnoticed, to keep us safe so that they could show up to the United States Senate and vote no to pay those people.
Unbelievable. I know we're out of time, but a quick question, since we have the Republican from the 7th District, Congressman Tom Barrett, and that is, what do we know the very latest about the KC-135 refueling aircraft that went down in western Iraq? We first heard 4 of the 6 crew members aboard the aircraft were confirmed dead. Now I believe we now have all 6 of them confirmed dead. Do we know anything about what exactly happened?
The latest that I heard, and this is still speculation, is that it may have been an in-flight emergency or a collision during a refueling operation, but that's not yet confirmed. It doesn't appear that it came through hostile fire. That doesn't negate the loss of life that took place and the tragedy that it is. It does appear in the preliminary reporting that I saw that it was some kind of midair emergency that happened, not due to hostile fire, but we are definitely grieving for the loss of these service members along with
They
the
were
rest of the
serving
country.
us. They were serving our country. However it happened, they died for us. And I'm glad you remembered that and reminded us of that. To Congressman Tom Barrett, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
It's our pleasure. Congressman, Republican 7th District, Tom Barrett, with Paul W. Smith in Focus on WJR. And it's the half hour, and it is Friday, and we have Automotive Views brought to you by Bridgestone and David Coletti's team. Bridgestone, that's what I always like to refer to them as. No matter what the next generation of mobility will be, it will be on wheels. And Bridgestone will be there. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Here's Mike Martinez.
Count Honda is the latest automaker to face a pricey reckoning over the electric vehicle market. The Japanese automaker announced it was canceling development of 3 EVs that were expected to be built in the U.S. in the coming years. Gone are the 0 Series SUV, 0 Series Saloon, and the Acura RSX. Honda said it could book up to $15.8 billion in losses related to their cancellation. When you count in recent announcements from the Detroit 3, total EV losses are approaching $70 billion. U.S. EV sales have nosedived since last fall, when the Trump administration canceled a $7,500 federal tax credit that subsidized purchases and leases. Most automakers are pivoting instead to new gas models or hybrids. Honda executives said they needed to, quote, stop the bleeding, and worried bringing new EVs to market in this environment would only lead to further losses. Honda's the latest automaker to face this new reality, but it likely won't be the last. With this week's Automotive View, I'm Mike Martinez with Automotive News.
People say we should live in the present, but that doesn't mean we can't drive toward a brighter future. That's why Bridgestone is focused on positively impacting the next generation by developing a tire using 75% recycled and renewable materials. Because getting people down the road matters, but getting future generations down the road, that's what really matters. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Visit whatreallymatters.com to learn more.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe.
Most 401ks and IRA withdrawals are taxed. Do you know how much the IRS could take? At Money Talks, we've created a tax bill report that shows you what you may owe and strategies to help you reduce it. Go to moneytalkstaxbill.com to get your free personalized report today. That's moneytalkstaxbill.com. And join us for Money Talks with Joseph Uplager, Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on WJR.
Welcome to Making the Impossible Possible with Henry Ford Health. And with us today is cardiologist Dr. Corey Russell. From the routine to leading-edge breakthroughs at Henry Ford, healthcare is more than high-tech. It's human. And Dr. Russell, how does this impact your work?
That's so true. As a physician, what we do is intrinsically personal. It's incredibly important to me to maintain that human connection with my patients. My goal is to help my patients feel better and continue living longer, happier lives with their loved ones. That truly makes me happy.
Well, that's wonderful. And Henry Ford is a nonprofit. How does this impact the care you give as a physician?
Because Henry Ford Health is a nonprofit, our donors and their gifts power the advancements that help us improve and save more lives every day. Philanthropy is the difference maker that enables the next level of exceptional patient-centered care, leading-edge research, clinical training excellence, and broad community impact.
Great. Cardiovascular care is part of your Detroit expansion plans. Can you share more?
Cardiovascular care will be one of the specialties in the new hospital facility currently being built at our Detroit campus. Thanks to donor support, we can continue to engage in the most advanced research while investing in the best equipment and technology available, all to improve our patients' lives.
To learn more or make a gift, visit henryford.com/above and beyond.
At Average Amy's Coffee Corner, our coffee has caffeine, our muffins are cooked, and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Average doesn't build great businesses. Cumulus Digital does, outperforming industry benchmarks by more than 25%. We deliver smarter digital marketing to over 4,000 local businesses every month and drive real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
It's the 15th annual Salute to Service Nights at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth, March 20th and 21st. Join Team USA in celebrating America's 250 years with honor and thanking our local heroes. Because of generous supporters, this event is always free for military, veterans, first responders, and their families. Each night includes USA Hockey game tickets, veteran and military resources, free food and beverage, kids' activities, giveaways, special guests, and lots of family fun. Go to usahockeyarena.com for more information.
Wow, did you see this?
Barrett News Media. What is that?
Well, they're a national publishing and consulting firm. Media professionals all read their stuff. But look at who they have in the top 15 of the best radio shows in the entire country.
Oh, Focus with Paul W. Smith.
Yeah. JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
And, of course, The Mitch Albom Show.
I guess that's what they mean when they say the great voices of the Great Lakes.
I always thought I had a pretty great voice. I really do.
Don't sing, hon. Don't. It ain't that great.
Barrett News Media says they're the tops in the country. Catch all of the great weekday shows and see for yourself the great voices of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR. You're hearing Focus with Paul W. Smith on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
I complimented the team yesterday under adverse conditions. Anytime you're out of the studio or out of a place where you can get all your information via Wi-Fi, news wires, cable connections, all the stuff, which is what we were yesterday, happily there for the broadcast of the Detroit Economic Club, when all hell broke out. And the team acted and reacted marvelously, just as all of the law enforcement people, which we can't thank enough, the local, the county, the state, the federal, and the private security, starting with them. And part of that team, of course, was Marie Osborne, who was our outside reporter on what was happening. And Marie, I think you'll agree, we all had to be very careful not to respond and react quickly to things that were coming our way that no one could corroborate. Nobody could give us, we didn't know for sure what was going on, so we didn't report certain things that, in fact, later turned out to be correct, but nobody knew at the time. So good job for you, Marie. And that's where your years and years of news experience comes into play.
Indeed, these situations are dynamic when they happen. That means things are happening fast. You've got to make some quick judgments about what is fact and what is not. Usually, when law enforcement tells you something, that's what we can go on the air with. So we were working, as best as we could with the sources. We had some very good sources working yesterday, thanks to the hard work of our producers who were behind the scenes as well. So, but all the things we did, totally secondary to what actually happened out there yesterday.
Of course.
And the
Of
victims
course.
and the people and the first responders who worked so hard yesterday. So
Oh,
today,
there's
Paul.
no question about that. I just wanted to point out
Yes. Yes.
your good service under fire, if you will. And we hope that we don't have to do that very often. But WJR, over the last over 100 years, has had to act and respond when stories were breaking, and it's what we do, and I'm glad that it worked out well with the team. I was very impressed with what Governor Gretchen Whitmer had to say, urging residents to lower the rhetoric after what she calls the clear act of anti-Semitism at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. Maria's here. She's got that report and the latest details in the aftermath of the attack. Marie?
Yeah, let's just recap what we know now. Police say 41-year-old Ayman Ghazali drove his truck into the synagogue just before noon yesterday, opened fire. Security guards shot and killed him. The guard was injured, as were 30 first responders who had to be treated for smoke inhalation. All the staff and 140 children in that school were able to get out. They were unharmed. Homeland Security confirms that Ghazali was originally from Lebanon and became a U.S. citizen in 2016. There are sources who say in this investigation that several of his family members were killed days earlier during a military strike overseas. Now, you mentioned the governor. She spoke at the Jewish Community Center today, and she said the attack targeted Jewish children. And she said, quote, "It could have looked a lot more like Sandy Hook." All right, we're having issues with our audio here today, Paul. I apologize for that. Again, the governor's saying it could have looked a lot more like Sandy Hook. Also, Alyssa Slotkin, our senator, was there, and she called for people to confront anti-Semitism wherever they see it. The FBI is treating the attack as a targeted attack of violence against the Jewish community. In Washtenaw County, we also want to add late this morning, the sheriff's office there said they are heightening protective measures around places of worships and community centers. They say there are no specific threats right now, but what they're doing is doing this out of an abundance of caution. And I think we're going to see that throughout the metro area.
As the governor said, and I was very pleased with the way she approached this, every community's worst nightmare. And, quote, "We saw incredible people step up today to save lives and stop the suspect. Our state is grateful to the security personnel for their bravery and law enforcement who jumped into action to keep students safe." I'll tell you,
And
the
Paul,
folks.
I think we do have that audio for you if you'd like to listen here to what Governor Whitmer had to say.
Yesterday's attack was anti-Semitism. It was hate, plain and simple. We will fight this ancient and rampant evil. We will stand together as we do it, and we will call it out. We must lower the rhetoric in this state and in this country.
And again, here's Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
The Jewish community suffers 10 times the number of hate crimes than any other community in this country.
Too bad she didn't vote yes to fund DHS on the same day that she watched her community, go through this. But we don't have to. I'm not going to put you in the middle of her hypocrisy. I would suggest reading front page of the Detroit News, Nolan Finley, under the headline, "Blame Those who made anti-Semitism fashionable. And for this 41-year-old dead guy, he should have been mad at Hezbollah because that's what led to his family's death. And now we see in the front page of the New York Times, Lebanon's Hezbollah loyalists are weary of war and begin to waver. So what a waste of his life and a waste of everything. Appreciate the reports, Marie. Marie Osborne, WJR, Director of Community Affairs and News, as we continue. Well, March is your lucky month if you're ready to live a pain-free life, thanks to Michigan's Lucky Charm, Dr. Saul Kogan at the Nerve and Disc Institute, and his non-surgical, non-invasive treatments for severe and chronic back, neck, and knee pain. You could join thousands of patients. Well, take Bob, for example, a retired police officer who had a bulging disc, couldn't walk, and now has no pain when on his feet 7 hours straight working security. Or Christina, who had 7 bulging discs and is now pain-free. You see, intra-disc neutrosis helps people with spinal stenosis, bulging and herniated discs, sciatica pain, and degenerative disc disease avoid spine surgery. And Knee Restore RX helps those with osteoarthritis, meniscus tears, and muscle strains avoid knee replacement without shots, without pills, without downtime. And lucky you, if you mention WJR in March and get a consultation, exam, x-ray, or MRI review, and laser treatment, you'll get it all for just $49 for your first visit. The Nerve and Disc Institute in Farmington, Clinton Township, Grand Blanc, and now Bad Axe. Be sure to mention WJR. Take advantage of this incredible first visit deal. Call 586-416-DISC, 586-416-DISC, or 586-416-3472, 586-416-3472. The Nerve and Disc Institute in Farmington, Clinton Township, Grand Blanc, and now Bad Axe. 1246 at 760 WJR.
Raymer Floors 3-day sale Thursday and Saturday only. Save up to 40% on carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring is on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only. Raymer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at raymerfloors.com.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-245-7095 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-245-7095. That's 800-245-7095. Again, 800-245-7095.
I'm Steve Finatieri, Regional Vice President for Cumulus Media, inviting you to one of Metro Detroit's premier summer charity events. On Monday, July 13th, 760 WJR presents the Lomas Brown Golf Classic at the beautiful Country Club of Detroit. Hosted by Detroit Lions legend and WJR radio host Lomas Brown, this championship-level outing brings together business leaders and sports figures for an unforgettable day of golf and community impact. After a sold-out debut in 2025, this year's event will be even bigger, with premium activations, elevated hospitality, and lots of Detroit sports personalities. Proceeds benefit the Lomas Brown Jr. Foundation, strengthening Detroit families through scholarships, youth development, and life skills programming. Companies like yours across Michigan are invited to align their brands with a cause that's truly making a difference. Be a part of something bigger than golf. July 13th at the Country Club of Detroit. Contact me directly at 313-873-9866 or visit LomasBrownGolfClassic.com. That's LomasBrownGolfClassic.com.
Detroit is more than a destination. From our bustling downtown to the greater Tri-County area, Detroit attracts a full 40% of Michigan visitors, generating more than $5 billion in economic activity. That success story is what makes Detroit the beating heart of pure Michigan.
Are you concerned about outliving your money? If so, tune in to Money Talks with Joseph Uplegger, Saturdays at 5 p.m. Joe will help make sure you get the retirement you deserve, Saturdays at 5 p.m., right here on WJR 760.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at amazonbusiness.com.
Estate Planning Legal Services is a proud sponsor of the Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. They offer clear plans to protect your loved ones, reduce probate costs, and ease family burdens regardless of estate size. Estate Planning Legal Services, EPLSPC.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Facing production swings or a tough skills gap, Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Professionals makes hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster for contract and full-time jobs. Visit ExpressPros.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First is sponsored by Mary Grove Awnings. 48 hours, you could be sitting in the shade this week. Mary Grove, motorized, no crank. Built in Detroit for over 90 years. Book your free appointment now at marygrove.com or by calling 1-800-44-AWNING. I-96 westbound has reopened between Wixom and Milford Road. We still have a little residual backup from Beck Road there. We picked up a wreck on Grand Boulevard westbound between the Lodge and Post Street. North Oak Road closed in both directions between East Coldwater and Stanley Road due to flooding. The I-275 southbound off-ramp to westbound M14 closed until early November. And we still have that broken water main on 14 Mile Road between Drake Road and Farmington Road. Please avoid until further notice. That strip of roadway is closed for the time being. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. We have a mix of sun and clouds today, a bit windy with a high of 48. Cloudy for tonight, a low of 27. Partly cloudy for Saturday with a high of 40. Overcast Sunday with a high of 62. Right now it's sunny and 48 degrees. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
We continue with the conversation about the attack on Temple Israel and the incredible job done by first their private security firm, but then, of course, all the local, county, state, and federal officers who went running toward the problem, having no idea what they were going to get into, even running into the building in that smoke, and several of them sent to the hospital with smoke inhalation. All heroes, incredibly so. A lot of us don't think about the security of a church or a temple. Now we will, and we always will. There is a security company, and it's called Magain, Detroit Jewish Community Security Group, and Aaron Tobin is of that group. And on the other end of our line right now, not the security detail that was at Temple Israel, but you're very familiar with them, and I think you've been in touch with them as well, Aaron?
Yes, I've had, thanks for having me on the show.
Sure.
I was on the phone with law enforcement at the scene, and with the Jewish Federation and other groups that coordinated lockdowns for various schools. I am in charge of security at several schools here in Southfield and Oak Park. And the response was incredible. These security guards were not just your average security guards. The Temple Israel has ex-police officers there. So these were all ex-police officers, highly trained, and as you can see from the results, very brave. And instead of running away from the problem, they ran towards the problem, which is not something you can teach a security guard. You either have it or you don't. And these guys did a tremendous job and definitely saved lives by their actions.
As Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard told us at the start of our show today, he knows these people, especially the guy who was in charge, who got hit by the truck as it came through and had to go to the hospital. He talked about them being former police officers and being the best of the best. You know, it's for most of us, I have to tell you, we don't think in these terms, but beyond the synagogue's full-time director of security, the guy who was hurt, Temple Israel has a full team of armed security guards on the premises at all times, as well as a remote security system that can secure different areas of the building during threats. You know, most of us don't think about that and haven't had to. Now we will. And Aaron, I'm sure your business has changed over the last 10 years, hasn't it?
Yes, but we are a community group of volunteers. So we have both armed and unarmed guards. We don't charge for our services. When a synagogue or even a church calls us up and says, listen, we're having an event, or do you have any guards that you can bring out? We don't charge for those services. And there is no synagogue in the community that we would refuse service to. You know, I happen to be an Orthodox Jew, Orthodox, Reform, whatever they are, conservative. If they're Jewish, we answer their calls and try to help the best way possible. I wish more synagogues and churches took the level of security seriously like Temple Israel did. And that's a constant battle I have with schools and synagogues. It's only after an event like this where my phone's been ringing off the hook since this happened. What can we do for security? You know, I've been telling them for the last few years that you need this, 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 and this. And there's security grants out there, which unfortunately there's synagogues and schools that don't even take advantage of those. So there's help out there, but you got to make the first step and make the phone calls and try and get these security grants. And they're not that difficult to do.
Isn't it sad that we are at a certain point in this great country of ours where every church, but especially at this point, every synagogue, every school, everybody has to plan on something like this? It's just unbelievable and unfortunate. And we didn't think this way back when I was in school. When my parents sent me to school, it was a safe haven, not a place where something like this could happen. But it's in the news so much now, we have to depend on schools and churches and synagogues hardening their security in ways that we never even dreamed of. But you're right. Aaron Tobin with us of McGain, Detroit Jewish Community Security Group. This, as I'm just learning, all volunteers to help synagogues, but churches too, have security. It's just incredible that we're at that point. And I sure wish I could say I see the end near, but I don't see the end near. How about you?
We have to stay vigilant. If we pray that the end is near, but in the meantime, like God told King David, yeah, we have to pray, but get your swords, be prepared, get your shield, which is what Magain means, and go out to battle. We have to be ready.
God bless you. We're the clock is ticking. We're out of time, but get your swords ready. That's good advice for all of us. Aaron Tobin, thank you on WJR.
Now WJR Health Watch. Here's Lloyd Jackson.
Not every brain tumor patient is the same. And at Henry Ford, laser ablation therapy, which uses a tiny laser guided by MRI to target and destroy tumors within the brain at pinpoint precision, is best for certain tumors and lesions, especially those that are small to medium, hard to reach, or previously considered inoperable.
With a laser ablation, you're able to pass a laser fiber without damaging those tissues and thus not have that collateral damage on the way in. At the same time, for some territories deep in the brain, when we resect them, there are tumors that pass through those parts of the brain that supply other parts of the brain that we're not planning on resecting, and that can cause a stroke. Laser ablation seems to not injure those blood vessels, and so we're able to do ablations of even deep parts of the brain without causing strokes in other parts of the brain.
That's Dr. Ian Lee, a neurosurgeon at Henry Ford Health and co-director of the Hermelin Brain Tumor Center. Dr. Lee says the whole process usually takes a few hours, and most patients can go home within a day or two, much faster than conventional brain surgery. Laser ablation can also be combined with radiation or chemotherapy to improve outcomes for complex cases. For families hearing about this for the first time, Dr. Lee encourages starting a conversation early with a neurosurgeon.
Certainly, the neurosurgeon is the right person to ask. They are the sort of the quote unquote subject matter experts when it comes to that. But, I think if you don't ask that question these days, then I think you're really potentially missing out on a very important technology.
For more information on laser ablation brain surgery, call the Henry Ford Hermelin Brain Tumor Center at 888-777-4167. I'm Lloyd Jackson for WJR Health Watch.
For physical health, mental health, and everything in between, Blue Cross is ready to help. Learn more at bcbsm.com.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
A mass demonstration in Iran. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. An annual rally organized by the government going on as scheduled in Tehran, complete with chants of death to America and Israel, even after Israel warned it would be targeting the capital. A day after the new supreme leader warned in a written statement that Iran will keep fighting, President Trump tells the Fox Brian Kilmeade radio show.
Well, they've been doing a lot of talking, so he's going to have to put up. We'll have to see, because we are decimating them. We've knocked out most of their missiles. We've knocked out many of their drones. We knocked out a lot of the manufacturing areas where they manufacture the missiles and now the drones.
President Trump also posting, "Watch what happens today." The Pentagon says more than 15,000 enemy targets have been hit since Operation Epic Fury began. Iran is still retaliating around the region.
Here in Dubai, after Iran threatened financial institutions in the region, we were woken up to the sound of an explosion around 7 a.m. in the financial center that damaged the facade of the building after what authorities here called a successful intercept. No injuries were reported.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. The U.S. military confirming today that all 6 crew members were killed after one refueling plane hit another during a mission over Iraq. Shockwaves around the U.S. after yesterday's synagogue attack in Michigan. New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
We are on high alert. This is a high alert situation as we do everything we can to assure the community that we will fight to protect them. I will do anything I can to make sure this community and others feel safe.
The motive for the attack remains under investigation. Officials say the man who was killed after driving his car into the synagogue was a naturalized U.S. citizen from Lebanon, whose family members were recently killed in an Israeli airstrike. Israel's been targeting Iran-backed Hezbollah as militants launched rocket attacks on Israel from Lebanon, where the health ministry now reports more than 700 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Find your luck at Genesis Cadillac, a proud sponsor of the Paul W. Smith Annual St. Patrick's Day broadcast. Your full-service dealer for new and pre-owned sales, service, parts, and collision repairs. Visit in St. Clair Shores or shop online at genesiscadillac.com.
I'm Anthony Tomey, CEO of Tomey Group, and we're one of the largest Jimmy John franchisees in the country. With 50 Jimmy Johns and over 700 employees, it's a challenge to manage operations. What could possibly go wrong with owning 50 Jimmy Johns? People don't show up. Equipment fail. Run out of bread. No tomatoes. We need onions. Many different things can happen. Tryon allows us to really focus on the food and the operations of the restaurant. And that's why we rely on Tryon.
You can always rely on Tryon.
The financial industry can be confusing. That's why our show, Expedition Retirement, has a new name. Join us for Fire Your Financial Advisor, Saturdays at 3 and Sundays at 5 on News Talk 760 WJR.
With Paul W. Smith on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Well, we've got hour number 2. Man, it looks, in my neck of the woods, stormy. It's gotten gray and dark, and we had a power outage. So we might be having storms all over the place, for all I know. What's it looking like there?
Yeah, it's very foggy. For anyone who has visited us here at the Fisher Building, you can normally see the Renaissance Center pretty well on a clear day, and you can just barely make it out right now through the fog.
Well, I'm still worried for those who are actually watching us right now on Facebook and YouTube pages where we're streaming live. They're concerned that the Fisher Building is falling over because it's leaning more than the it's leaning more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, we kind of got to do the show like this, kind of leaning to our left to offset it.
How did we ever get a picture of the Fisher Building like that, leaning?
I don't know. Maybe
it's coming off to your. Just when you stood up, it looks like you're wearing a crown on your head.
Yeah, I'm like Batman. Look at that.
Fisher.
Yeah, right there, or a dunce cap.
Well, it could be that too, but I didn't want to say. Actually, never even occurred to me. A dunce cap on you, not possible. We've got the team together. Mike Parsons, our executive producer, Danielle Mason, Queen of the Switches, Rich Luzinski, keeping an eye on WJR traffic and weather first. And I don't know what he's seeing on his weather maps, but it can't look pretty because out in real life, outside, it doesn't look very pretty right now. Meanwhile, we're into hour number 2. You can stream us, podcast us. If you missed the show, noon to 2, come back and watch the podcast in like an hour and 10 minutes. It's very quick at WJR.com. Hope you have the free WJR app. I'm glad you got your daily dose of Dietz with All Talk and Kevin Dietz earlier, and then following me in this beautiful sandwich JR afternoon with Ryan Ermani. After Ryan, it's Mitch Album, and then Sports Wrap and Spotlight. We got all kinds of things going on. We got a tremendous windstorm. You can hear things pounding against, well, maybe you can't hear things. I'm hearing things pounding against my window. And it reminds me when I brought Paul Lind in Toledo to a television station, and you can find this on YouTube, Paul Lind in Toledo at a television station doing the weather forecast. And I took him over there because it was just down the street from our radio station, WSPD. And he did the weather. And it was the old-fashioned, with chalk and other stuff. And he said, "What's this? What's that mean?" And then he just looked at the camera and said, "Twisters are coming. Tie yourself to trees." So he couldn't get away with that today, could he? Probably.
Are you
not.
in the video too, Paul? Because I found a video. But
I don't think I'm off stage, so to speak. I took him there. You might hear me laughing because it was funny. That's an old, does it say what year that was? That was a long time ago.
Let's see. Let me pull it up.
Now. I'll just move over here.
Well, let's start.
Wow.
Look
at that chest hair.
Oh, the satellite map. Is this the satellite map?
No, it appears magically.
Oh, okay.
It
looks like trouble.
A
heavy fog in New York. Or is that
I couldn't grow a beard.
No, do I go to this now?
My late great brother Mark could grow a beard.
Well, this is where we're at, isn't it? Right
and
here.
I was always
is it hot or humid? It's both. And there's rain coming down from Canada.
Anyway, we've got lots going on here. We'll get back to more on the Temple Israel. Doron Levin, freelance journalist, born in Israel, served in the Israeli military with his lovely wife, Adina. She was an officer in the Israeli military, if I recall. They live here now, and so they're feeling the pain of the attack on Temple Israel Synagogue. We'll get into that coming up. Other stories we're looking at. We haven't even talked about the Old Dominion shooter. Was convicted of Islamic State ties and released from prison just 2 years before the attack. What is it with these judges that make these decisions to let people out of jail early, people who should never be out of jail?
Right, especially if his conviction was tied to ISIS. It's like, what could possibly go wrong? And we're seeing it.
Yeah, boy, let's let him go. Yeah, gee, man, oh, man. Iran vows to keep Strait of Hormuz closed. In the new leader's first statement, it is notable that the new leader hasn't been seen since the first day of the attacks when his dad was killed.
And it's funny you bring that up because we're watching, we normally both have the same thing on, but we're watching NBC News now. And the headline just says, Secretary Hegseth, quote, don't need to worry about Straits of Hormuz.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm concerned, to put it mildly.
I'm concerned too. I just turned my television back off. That blasted off when the power went off, and it's on where I have it during the show for a broader spectrum of what's going on. This is Fox News, but anyway, the other thing is the Democrats blocking a bill to reopen Homeland Security amid a 27-day shutdown, and today is the first day that TSA workers get nothing, a zero check. So when
after going through the same thing earlier this year.
Yeah, and so when you go to the airport and you get tied up in TSA, blame the people who should be blamed because they're the ones that caused this. Those would be the Democrats. And the biggest hypocrite, sadly, coming through all of this is Alyssa Slotkin. I used to like her. I used to respect her, I guess is what I should say. When she says we should fund DHS, this is right. She took a vote. They took a vote. And she voted not to fund it. And this is after what happened in her state of Michigan and at the Temple. I can't get over the hypocrisy. You can have Trump derangement syndrome, as many of them do, but don't take it out on us. Don't take it out on we, the people. Kim had to go to the airport flying from Fort Myers, and she got there in plenty of time, and she goes through, and they say you can't get on the plane. Why? Well, because she went through security. She went through everything. Well, because your bags didn't make it yet through security. Well, what do you mean? It's just a one bag. What? Well, we only had 2 TSA officers arrive today to work behind the scenes. Because remember, behind the scenes, they're also looking at your luggage, x-raying it, checking randomly, opening bags and all of that. That's what they do. And not enough people showed up for work that day, TSA, to do it because they don't get paid. They're not getting paid. How many people would show up for work if they were not getting paid? And there was not even a promise of when they might get paid. And you can thank Alyssa Slotkin and the Democrats for not signing off just because they're mad at ICE. But what they're doing isn't affecting ICE at all because ICE was in a different bill and the president put billions of dollars aside to fund ICE. So what they're doing is they're hurting TSA, those hardworking men and women keeping us safe at the airport. They're hurting the Coast Guard. They're hurting a lot of people, but they're not even hurting ICE, the ones that they can't stand, that they hate. So ask Alyssa Slotkin and all the rest of the Democrats that are unbelievably hypocritical and say, you might dislike the president, but why are you taking it out on us? Just a question. It doesn't make any sense. Well, today is, and this is the first time we've talked about it. You know what today is?
It's a couple things.
Well, it's Friday the 13th.
Yes.
That used to be significant and mean something. It doesn't anymore, does it?
Well, yeah, this is the first. It was Friday the 13th in February, right?
We've had, I think, 2 or 3 Friday the 13ths
already
or something. I mean, we've had seemingly endless Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right. It's also 313 day.
It is. Oh, yes. I wanted to mention that too. It's 313 day. Wait a second. I have something here. Oh, geez. You know, I pile this stuff up. Well, Jake Paul attends Trump's speech. Oh, here it is. Jake Paul. I don't get it at all. Anyway, tomorrow, today's 313 day, but you know what tomorrow is?
I don't.
It's Pi Day.
Oh,
PI
yes.
3.14. And believe me, from a math standpoint, I know nothing about this. But Grand Traverse Pie Company, great people, the Busleys, Mike Busley, the co-founder with his wife, celebrating Pi Day tomorrow, Saturday, March 14th, with a free slice of Michigan ABC crumb pie with any purchase. That's a free slice of Michigan ABC crumb pie. That's apples, blueberries, and cherries. It is delicious.
And that crumb topping is my favorite topping on a pie.
It's the best. It also happens to be, March also happens to be Michigan Food and Agriculture Month, which I didn't realize. Who's doing the ag tour that I used to do? Somebody's got to be doing it. Somebody's going to pick that up. It's got to be soon.
I forgot who did it last year. Was it Kevin or did the morning show? I don't know.
Could have been. It could be Kevin.
Yeah.
So you can get a daily dose of deets out in the field. That's what I did at one time. I had a picture of me standing out in the cornfield saying, Paul W. Smith, outstanding in his field.
That's a little corny, Paul.
Yeah, it was a lot corny. But I was a corny guy back in the day before corn was corn. All right, we've got to go. It's you can't go. All the plants will die. I can't say we got to go without thinking of the Mitch Albom close on his show.
Good branding.
Repetition works. Repetition works. It is 1:15 at WJR.
Did you know only 40% of people get to choose when they retire? To reduce fear and to understand if you have what you need to give you what you want in retirement, the charity has learned after teaching tens of thousands of families with assets between $1 to $20 million, you have to educate yourself and prepare now. Hi, I'm Kirk Cassidy, lead instructor for the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program, and the co-host of the Retirement Education Hour heard here Saturdays 6 a.m. and 1 p.m. If you're retiring within 10 years or already retired, then join us for our retirement education courses held at major universities and colleges in your area. At this course, we'll teach you how and when to take income from which accounts at what age to minimize taxes and reduce the chances of outliving your money. Join us for our 8-hour, almost master's level retirement course to learn how to retire earlier, spend more, and reduce your anxiety. To find a course in your area, go to refedu.org. That's refedu.org. These courses are sponsored by the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program.
Hi, I'm Adam Devine, Chief Fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. No. I said more fun! When I was a kid, a Children's Miracle Network hospital helped me get back on my feet, literally. So trust me when I say that these places aren't just hospitals. They are hope factories. Children's Miracle Network is hospitals, programs, partners, and donors like you. Join us in making big change for all kids. Visit us online at cmn.org.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, We can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-245-7095 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-245-7095. That's 800-245-7095. Again, 800-245-7095.
Signs of spring. The smell of the first cut lawn. Rain followed by an earthworm apocalypse. And WJR's Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's Tuesday starting with Paul at 11 a.m. and for the rest of the day. Sponsored in part by Visit Skyworks Equipment Rental, Genesis Cadillac, Estate Planning Legal Services, and by Wigley's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Miss it, and your luck could flip faster than a misfired river dance kick.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
WJR Traffic and Weather First is sponsored by Reamer Floors 3-day sale. It's here today through Saturday only. Save up to 40% on new flooring for your home. Carpet, hardwood, luxury, vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring is on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only at Reamer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at reamerfloors.com. Well, roadways have slowed down just a little bit. Construction blocking your two right lanes on M14 westbound between I-275 and Sheldon Road. Some road work on the Jeffries in both directions between I-275 and Levan. Keep in mind the I-275 southbound off-ramp to westbound M14 closed until early November. And we still have that broken water main on 14 Mile Road between Drake and Farmington. Please avoid that area until further notice. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Rainy and windy today with highs in the lower 50s. Cloudy for tonight, a low of 27. A few flurries or snow showers possible. Partly cloudy for Saturday with a high of 40. Overcast Sunday with a high of 62. Right now, windy and rain in the vicinity. 51 degrees. I'm Rich Luzensky. WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Monday morning on JR Morning, we'll give you all the news, traffic, and weather to get your week started off right. We'll also check in with MSU head basketball coach Tom Izzo after the Big Ten tournament, and Monday Munchies at 8:49. All right here on WJR, WJR.com, and the always free WJR app.
Well, a man who has warned us about this, has paid very close attention to this, has traveled to Israel a number of times and reported from Israel to us, is very much aware of a significant rise in anti-Semitic incidents. Of course, the big one now that we're talking about here at Temple Israel and at the synagogue, it's just... it's a terrible circumstance and situation that happened in West Bloomfield Township, and we are following it and hoping and praying that this does not cause a bunch of other copycats to do what this guy tried to do at Temple Israel. And what a great job the private security guys did, and of course all of the law enforcement that showed up. I've never seen such a quick response. And so many people from local, county, state, and federal security law enforcement doing a tremendous job. Something like this does bring us together, but we have to remember this is an ongoing problem. And Doron Levin, freelance journalist, born in Israel, served in the Israeli military with your lovely wife, Adina. I think the Jewish community has probably been on high alert, but now, if it's possible, is even on a higher alert. What do you say? It's nice to have you back. Sorry we're talking about this.
Yeah, sorry to have to be talking about this. And first, shout out to our security team, which averted a disaster yesterday, really. Right now, the building's closed down and we'll have a lot of renovation work to do. But thank God nobody was hurt beyond one security person who was in the hospital with a broken leg. But I'm told he's going to be okay. But there's no doubt that had they not acted the way they did and in the manner they were supposed to, and at the time they did, there would have been some kind of a massacre there yesterday. We had young children in our early childhood center. We had staff there, but we've been worried about security for 10 years, Paul. We've been working on this, and everything worked the way it was supposed to. And the only thing I can say is thank God it did.
Well, it did, but it also opened our eyes to those of us who had no idea that for some time now, one of the biggest expenses for synagogues, schools, and such Jewish community centers, one of their biggest expenses has been their own private security. We didn't even know about it, frankly, most of us. And that's just unbelievable, almost unthinkable, but it is, thank God you thought of it and that you did it.
Well, we've seen what's happened around the world in places like Liverpool on Yom Kippur when 2 people were murdered, in Sydney, Australia, at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, where I've worshipped, in Buenos Aires, where a friend of mine was murdered at the Israeli embassy. There's this virus of Jew hatred worldwide that has infected us and has forced us to be very, very careful about security and about making sure that we can worship safely or as safely as possible. Tonight, we're already making alternate arrangements for worship services for the Sabbath, and I'm thankful to the clergy for doing that so quickly, but I'm sure there will be heavy security tonight and every time we go. And I got to tell you, it's infuriating that in the United States of America at this time, we have to worship under armed guard.
Forgive me for not knowing or remembering or knowing this ahead of time. Is this Temple Israel your synagogue?
Yes, I'm on. As a matter of fact, I'm on the board of trustees there, and Dina and I and our family have belonged there for more than 30 years. It's a wonderful place, and it's a beautiful community, and a group of people who we love, and it's just so heartbreaking that everybody's had to go through this. You know, we were talking yesterday about these little kids who were rescued basically by the teachers and staff after this happened, and they didn't understand what was happening. They thought this was a great adventure. They saw police officers and firemen, and they saw firefighters, and they saw helicopters, and it was very exciting for them. But I think that this is a trauma that will last a long time for the teachers and the staff who've had to go through this,
and the families, and the parents,
and the families,
knowing.
and they've had a glimpse of what could have been. I mean, this could have been an unimaginable bloodbath, and it just makes your skin crawl to think about what this guy was trying to do.
What the Director General of the Auschwitz Jewish Center Foundation said, Temple Israel is not just a synagogue. It is proof that Jewish life endures. It is unfortunate that you must endure to survive. I think a very important column written by Nolan Finley, front page of the great Detroit News today, blame those who made anti-Semitism fashionable. We can't be surprised after allowing such anti-Semitism on college campuses, even having it promoted by college professors in a variety of places. We should not be surprised that we have unstable people out there that then react and respond in this way. And my fear is there'll be copycats, and just hoping that everyone will be ready for that.
When you normalize this kind of rhetoric behind the cloak of freedom of speech, freedom of demonstration, and you are unwittingly incentivizing and inciting people who are prone to violence to commit violence against whatever it is you're demonstrating against. listen, I'm the last one who would be against criticism of the Israeli government, but when this veers into anti-Semitism, you are unleashing and encouraging people like the person who smashed into Temple Israel yesterday. And you don't realize what you're doing, but that's exactly what's happening. And Finley's and Nolan is exactly correct to point this out.
Yeah. Well, I hate for people to be trying to find a reason, find what the motivation was. And then some people are saying, well, his family was killed in an Israeli attack on Lebanon. Well, then he should be going after Hezbollah because it's Hezbollah who has caused the attacks on Lebanon. And the Lebanese people, the good Lebanese people, don't want Hezbollah doing this, shooting out at Israel, because they know what's going to happen, and they want him out of there. Even the New York Times says Lebanon's Hezbollah loyalists are weary of war and begin to waver. Even the loyalists of Hezbollah in Lebanon are saying, well, maybe we got to stop doing this. I don't know if they're that smart or if they can be thought to be that smart, but it's just, it is amazing. It's unfortunate. Thank God for God. Thank God for the private security that Temple Israel has and has had for a long time. Thank God for the local, county, state, and federal law enforcement people who came once again running to where the trouble was, not knowing what they would find, while other people were, as we should, running away from the problem. Jerome, I thank you for joining us. I'm sorry that you
Thanks
and
for
your
having
family.
me. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking that people had to go through this, and I'm really sorry for the trauma. But we will regroup and we will come back stronger than ever. I promise you.
You know what? I do not doubt that for a second, Daron. Not for a second. My best to you and Dina, and we'll talk again soon. I hope not about something like this again
On a happier
forever.
subject, please God. Thank you.
Please God is right. Daron Levin, freelance journalist, born in Israel, served in the Israeli military, usually reporting back to us from Israel about things happening there. This is things happening even right here at his home synagogue. As we continue in focus with Paul W. Smith at WJR.
Chris Alberta of Principium and I sat down to talk about the mindset behind managing your wealth in retirement.
So many people get paralyzed when they approach retirement because they don't want to make a wrong move. He's got a great cure for that.
Yes, listen, some move, guy, is better than no move. And the first move is to sit down and say, here's what we're most afraid of, and here's what we absolutely need at a minimum to feel comfortable in retirement. Can you teach us how to get there? Willingness to invest that time really matters. The stat came out years ago that the average family spends twice as much time planning their next vacation as they do reviewing their investments.
Wow.
This is the money you will rely on for 30, 40 years. It really matters.
Reach out to Chris Alberta. Principium strikes this balance between conservatism and opportunity, and he's taken so much of his valuable time to explain to me why, not just the how. Call Chris Alberta today, 888-800-8949. That's 888-800-8949.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at Clarkston Window and Door. This month, get 37% off installed replacement windows, plus 0% financing for 15 months. You heard that right, 37% off. 0% financing for 15 months. And Clarkston is even giving you free exterior color on top of all that. Call Clarkston Window and Door today or visit us online.
We sell, we install. That's right, we do it all. Clarkston Window and Door.
Your child's education is the foundation for tomorrow's leaders. Listen every Sunday at 3 p.m. for School Talks, hosted by Dr. Robert Livernoy. A conversation on all things education, from parents and students to educators and policymakers. School Talks is dedicated to in-depth discussions and analysis with experts on a wide range of topics in education. Sponsored by Collins and Blaha, attorneys at law, specializing in the representation of school districts. Collins and Blaha, your education experts. collinsandblaha.com.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Estate Planning Legal Services is a proud sponsor of the Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. They offer clear plans to protect your loved ones, reduce probate costs, and ease family burdens regardless of estate size. Estate Planning Legal Services, EPLSPC.com.
Every day, unsung heroes are transforming our neighborhoods. And 760 WJR's Michigan Voices with me, Marie Osborne, is here to tell their stories. But we need your help to find them. Do you know a local nonprofit or other community organization making an impact? Help us shine a spotlight on their work. Email the details to michiganvoices@wjr.com. Let's join forces to amplify the people building a better Michigan. Michigan Voices, Sunday mornings at 5:30, only on 760 WJR.
This is Keith Kingston, tax partner at Metro Detroit accounting firm Schindel Rock, with our weekly tax tip for business owners. It's not too late to reduce your 2025 taxes. Business owners can still set up a retirement plan for the prior year, and a deduction can be taken for 2025 as long as it's funded by the due date of the tax return. Talk to your CPA to see what options are available to you. Schindel Rock helps Metro Detroit businesses solve complex tax matters. Learn more at schindelrock.com.
It's the Inside Outside guys. Time for your home's annual checkup.
Start by checking your roof for missing shingles. Make sure downspouts are moving water away from your foundation.
And don't forget to inspect all that caulking around your windows and doors. Small gaps can mean big energy losses.
For the area's most trusted contractors to help you with your next home project, visit guys at InsideOutsideGuys.com. That's InsideOutsideGuys.com.
Sponsored by Rhino Shield of Michigan.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey. Mark and Cheryl here with Rhino Shield Ceramic Coatings.
Coating your house in Rhino Shield means you'll never have to paint again.
Just ask Inside Outside guy Ken Calverley. He had his house coated by Rhino Shield.
Just like Ken, your home will continue to look beautiful year after year. Call us today at 248-814-7600.
That's 248-814-7600 or rhinoshieldmi.com.
The Dan Bongino Show.
It's our movement, okay? It's ours. We built it.
Hard truths.
Remember, I just told you, flooding the zone with facts not related to evidence is not getting to truth, it's obscuring it. Don't accuse me of partisan bias here. This show tries to get to a truth lodestar by showing you things called evidence, not random facts unrelated to the point. Well, let's get to truth. Let's produce actual evidence. There's only one choice, man.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
See you there.
When news breaks.
A violent attack at a synagogue in West Bloomfield today has left a community reeling and asking, how could this happen here?
Turn to 760 WJR and WJR.com.
Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter.
The first few hours after an incident like this, there is so much confusion, misinformation. Thank you for being a voice of factual information to the public. It's important.
Where news breaks first.
Temple Israel is the biggest synagogue of any kind in North America.
Children remain safe and calm throughout the entire day. Every single child safely reunited with their parents this afternoon. And for that, I can't express my gratitude enough.
Rabbi Ariana Gordon of Temple Israel.
Some stations just repeat the news. We report the news. Then we talk about it. Information and conversation. 760 WJR.
And now, WJR is proud to present Rieger Reviews It.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Featuring film critic Dave Rieger.
Suddenly, Dave has a great job.
Sponsored by Wiggly's.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Rieger Reviews It. Sponsored by Wiggly's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Get lucky at Ernie's Grill in Clinton Township this March 17th. Ernie's is turning into McErnie's. Enjoy live Irish music and feast on Wiggly's made corned beef and cabbage, Reuben's and corned beef on grilled rye. See you at Ernie's, 16,655 19 Mile Road. Hey, nice to know people are streaming us. You can stream us, as I've always said, from around the block or around the country, around the world. In fact, our friend, Marine Michael Murray, Semper Fi Michael, is listening to us in a traffic jam in Dublin, Ireland right now with his daughter and her friends on what sounds to be a fabulous trip to Dublin, Ireland. Michael Murray, Semper Fi, my friend, and thanks for listening wherever you are. All right, Mr. Rieger, it's a big weekend for the movies because, of course, we have the Oscars on Sunday. Are you? Is there one movie you're reviewing for today?
Just one movie to review today, and then we'll talk about my Oscars picks.
Okay. And by the way,
yes.
thank you for your help during the broadcast when the story broke yesterday at the temple, and your mother's help on the phone as well, because she was working at another temple and getting all the information which we passed along. Thank you again.
You're welcome. No problem. You did great. That was great on breaking news.
Well, we did our best, and we think the station did a great job throughout the rest of the day and evening. But thank you for mentioning it. Did start right there, right in the middle of a broadcast, which is not always easy, especially when we're in the basement of a building.
Right. Yeah.
But meanwhile, what about this film, Reminders of Him?
This is based off of a Colleen Hoover book. Tells the story of 26-year-old Kendall Rowan, who after spending 5 years in the book, 7 years in the film, in prison for a drunk driving accident that killed her boyfriend, Scotty Landry, she now returns to her hometown in hopes of meeting her daughter, DM, who was born while she was incarcerated and she never got to see her. And when she goes back to her hometown, she starts a relationship with Scotty's best friend, Ledger Ward, who was gone playing in the NFL at the time. So they never really met. And so she's trying to get back in her daughter's life. The daughter's now being raised by the grandparents. And, it's just a story of her she starts to also fall in love with his best friend. So you can see how this kind of gets entangled a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds a little entangled. Let's listen to Reminders of Him.
This court sentences you to 7 years incarceration.
Do you happen to be hiring?
No. We can't take folks with a record.
What's your trauma? I can't get a job because I just got out of prison. The hell turned this bookstore into a bar?
I do.
Do you guys need help?
Do you know how to wash dishes?
7 years experience.
Okay. Not gonna ask you to expand on that. Hey, how'd you know I lived here?
I'm not here to see you. I need to see my daughter.
You're her. Go. Scotty was my best friend. When he died, we all came together to raise a little girl.
How dare she just show up?
If it wasn't for her, our son would still be alive. Coming back was a mistake.
I want to meet the human that Scotty and I made.
Well,
I will tell you that, I'm not much into the romantic movies. It was okay. I would give it 2 wiggly sandwiches. I do want to say that my favorite part of the movie was the NFL team that he played for in the movie, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, of course.
So
of course.
I give him credit. I give him credit for that.
Okay.
But I think people will like it. The Colleen Hoover books are very popular. So I think.
Yeah, I noticed when I look in the New York Times listings of books, probably on Sundays, she has had 2 or 3 books on that list at once.
Yeah, she's very popular. They're making a bunch of movies based off of the books. So I think people will go.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the 98th Academy Awards that airs this Sunday with Conan O'Brien. I think he generally does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
emceeing or hosting, whatever we call it. But I'm concerned. I want, if they will, I want Mike Parsons, Daniel Mason, even Rich Luzinski, if he can get near a microphone, to weigh in on some of these films if they had seen them. You take it away, and then I'll jump in when I can. I can only talk about, I think, 2 films that I saw.
So I know that at least for my picks, and then I went on DraftKings where you can bet on the Academy Awards, and I wanted to see what they decided and how close I was to what they think. So we'll start with Best Picture. I think one battle after another should win. hands down. It was a phenomenal movie. I know you had some reservations
I
about
thought it was anti-American. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't remember even specifically, but I do remember watching one battle after another and not being that excited.
But according to DraftKings, minus 400 to win. So it is the favorite to win for Best Picture.
What does that mean, minus 400 to
It
win?
means that you have to bet, you would have to bet 400 more dollars to win your money back because it's at minus. It's not plus. So
Because everybody thinks it's going to win.
exactly, it is a favorite. Correct.
Okay.
So I was right about that one. Moving over to actor in a leading role, I like Leonardo DiCaprio from One Battle After Another, but the DraftKings thinks Michael B. Jordan from Sinners.
As he should.
Yeah, Sinners was one of the few movies I saw, but I've liked Michael B. Jordan since he was on Friday Night Lights, and I haven't seen one battle after another, but I don't know.
Sinners is doing very well.
And I think, Danielle, you brought it up. He played two different roles very well in
so
the movie.
He's played two different characters. They were brothers, but two different characters. So he played two roles versus Leo, who played one. And also, he doesn't have much personality.
And while I liked Sinners, it just reminds me as a ripoff of From Dusk Till Dawn from back in the day.
It's a reimagining, Dave. That's allowed.
Well, the first half was a completely different movie.
True.
It was the first half was an original.
But take long enough to get to the part of the movie with the vampires, okay?
You just ruined it for people who haven't watched it.
Trust me, everybody knows.
Shocked.
Everybody knows what it's about.
I do think it's cool that two horror movies are nominated for Best Picture. You don't normally see that. The other one's Frankenstein, which was too long. I fell asleep.
Netflix,
I fell asleep
I
watching
didn't
it.
see that one.
Oh, that was a good
Benicio
one.
del Toro, yes.
The only other one I saw, and I liked it very much, but I was watching it like most of the movies I watched, sadly, was on an airplane, and we landed before just as the movie was ending. It was annoying. And the guy's making announcements, so it freezes please, no more announcements. Come on, it's almost over. But I then came home and watched the ending of it. I thought F1 was very good, but I loved
F1
racing.
was very good too. Yes, F1 was great. I just liked One Battle After Another just a little bit better. Real quick, Best Actress, Jessie Buckley, who was in The Bride. She is the predominant favorite to win for her role as Shakespeare's wife in Hamnet. She's at like minus 3,500. I don't think anybody's going to beat her. So,
and she might win a Razzie next year for The Bride.
Possibly. Yes, she also did a very nice job in The Bride. Actress.
Wait a minute, I thought a Razzie was a bad award.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
But I know.
She might get, but that was for a different movie though.
Right, but I'm saying
The Bride.
that The Bride's getting panned. I think Halle Berry won a Razzie and an Oscar, and I think this lady might win a Razzie next year for The Bride.
Fun fact: she actually recorded The Bride before she did Hamnet, even though The Bride came out after Hamnet. So that's interesting. But Best Supporting Actor, real quick, I have Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and so does DraftKings. Best Supporting Actress, they have Amy Madigan for Weapons. I like Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, but she's like at plus like 1,400, so I don't think she's going to win that one. And then the Best Director easily is going to be the guy who directed One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson, at minus 2,500. So while Sinners is getting a lot of play, I think One Battle After Another is going to do very well on Sunday night.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to go out on a limb. Folks, you may have just heard the summary of what is going to be happening and what's expected at this year's Academy Awards as the only place in town on the radio that has the influence of DraftKings in deciding who.
It just makes watching the Oscars much more fun.
Who
when you
our
can bet on
reviewer,
it. Come on,
Dave Rieger would lean on.
This
is not you. Usually guys who do this lean on other movie reviewers and say, well, so and so from the New York Times says, or so and so from USA Today says. But Dave says, well, so and so from DraftKings says.
Right.
And we all went along with it because we love you, Dave Rieger.
And you know what? It might end up being more accurate, too.
Well, when there's money on the line, I suspect that it might be.
I did say I was going to bet on it. I just gave you the information.
Oh, you didn't say you were going to bet on it.
Correct.
For entertainment purposes only.
Are you going to bet on it?
I don't know.
That's a yes. That's a yes.
If that's not a yes, I don't know what is.
I was just being completely honest. Full disclosure, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your help yesterday again, and your mom's help. And sorry you all had to go through that, and sorry everyone had to go through it. And we hope we never go through it again.
Thanks, Paul W.
Thank you. Dave Rieger. Rieger reviews it. Suddenly, or is it finally? Finally, Dave has a great new job. Oh, somebody just put on here, Dave Rieger, gambling degenerate.
Who put that there? That's not nice.
That's kind of uncalled for. but probably true.
Luckily, the 4 people who are watching the video will forgive you on that one. And the rest of you didn't even know about it until I read it, because I read everything they put in front of me.
We love you, Dave.
Yeah, we do. We do, Dave. We do.
Have
and
a
you're
good
very
weekend.
talented about, in a lot of ways. We appreciate it. All right. It is 1:49 at WJR. Now I need a Wiggly's corned beef sandwich from Wiggly's famous Eastern Market corned beef and McErnie's. They're at Ernie's Grill in Clinton Township. Yeah, they're going to have fun. And we're going to have fun, too. You can listen in on our special broadcast on St. Patrick's Day, our annual St. Patrick's Day broadcast. Unfortunately, you can't just show up, but you can listen in from 11 till 2. All righty. Have you ever wondered why health insurance costs seem to keep going up? Well, I was doing some research because that's what I do. I was online and I came upon some what was even surprising information to me on the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan website that you can access too. It's mibluedaily.com/affordability. MI, like in Michigan, mibluedaily.com/affordability. I was surprised to learn that the cost Blue Cross pays for prescription drugs rose by a staggering 15% last year. 15%. That was 5 times higher than inflation at the time. It's no wonder healthcare costs are a concern for so many of us. And that's why I wear the blue pin from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan that says affordability matters. I had it on at the Detroit Economic Club yesterday. And it is also why Tricia Keith, president and CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, and the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan team is working hard to help all of us better understand the factors driving up healthcare costs and sharing what they're doing as a business to address it. Because Blue Cross knows that healthcare is personal. Healthcare needs to work for everyone, and especially in healthcare, affordability matters. So I encourage you to take a minute and check out mibluedaily.com/affordability. mibluedaily.com/affordability. Get informed. You'll be glad you did. It's eye-opening information that can help all of us better understand the complexities of the healthcare system and its impact on our health insurance costs. And I remind you again, just heard this the other day, healthcare is personal, not political. Amen. 152 or just about on WJR.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. At Average Al's Furniture Warehouse, our sofas have cushions, our tables have 4 legs, our recliners recline. So come on by for a perfectly average experience.
Cumulus Digital doesn't stop at average. We work with more than 4,000 local businesses every month, delivering campaigns that beat industry averages by over 25%, driving real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Detroit fans, the Lions are returning to international play, and you have to be there.
True Fan Travel is taking game day to the next level with the ultimate Germany experience.
Picture this, an all-inclusive free trip to cheer on Detroit and Munich.
You can join my friend Lomas Brown in Deutschland for a 5-night unforgettable fan experience.
Authentic German culture, exclusive fan events, and plenty of time to explore the country's dynamic city and historic charm.
From world-class beer gardens and traditional cuisine to iconic landmarks and electric football energy.
True Fan Travel will handle it all. Your flight, hotel, game tickets, tailgate, meet and greet, and more.
Take your fandom further and place your deposit today for Detroit in Munich at truefantravel.com.
That's truefantravel.com.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at Clarkston Window and Door. This month, get 37% off installed replacement windows, plus 0% financing for 15 months. You heard that right, 37% off. 0% financing for 15 months. And Clarkston is even giving you free exterior color on top of all that. Call Clarkston Window and Door today or visit us online.
We sell, we install. That's right, we do it all. Clarkston Window and Door.
Raymer Floors 3-day sale Thursday and Saturday only. Save up to 40% on carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring is on your spring to-do list, don't wait this weekend only. Raymer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at raymerfloors.com.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Estate Planning Legal Services is a proud sponsor of the Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. They offer clear plans to protect your loved ones, reduce probate costs, and ease family burdens regardless of estate size. Estate Planning Legal Services. EPLSPC.com.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Look out for an accident on I-75 southbound at Mack Avenue. Another wreck on the southbound Southfield Freeway at Oakwood Boulevard. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Rainy and windy today. Highs in the lower 50s. Partly cloudy for Saturday. A high of 40. Overcast Sunday with a high of 62. Right now windy with showers in the vicinity. 51 degrees. I'm Rich Luzensky. WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Sponsored by Femininio Law. GetDavidGetPaid.com. Traffic and Weather is sponsored by Femininio Law. Get David, get paid.
You need more than just a great lawyer. You need a great team. And only Femininio Law has the accident response team. We're out there working on day one to get your life back and to get you paid. Call 855-65-CRASH or visit getdavidgetpaid.com.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Well, that's going to do it for the week. And what a week it's been. And I thank the team. Mike Parsons, executive producer. Danielle Mason, queen of the switches. Rich Luzinski, also helping, of course, Marie Osborne, along with Abby Pelkey in training. Dave Rieger reviews it, plus engineering yesterday, matter of fact. Dan Thomas, our fabulous program director, and associate producer, Kim Smith, who adds to the show wherever I am, wherever she is, and we do appreciate it. But we really appreciate you for being here, for you choosing to join the best and brightest audience in all of radio as you go on out and make each and every day count, because you know each day is a gift. Have a spectacular weekend and a safe one. We'll see you Monday. Regards, Paul W. Smith.